The words hit me like a fist to the gut, raw and unyielding, in the dim glow of our family dining room where the air smelled of overcooked roast and unspoken resentments. "We used your savings on someone more worthy," my dad said. His voice flat as a blade, eyes not even meeting mine as he speared a potato with his fork. I froze, fork halfway to my mouth, the metallic tang of blood filling my tongue from where I'd bitten my lip. Worthy. The word echoed in my skull, a venomous whisper that twisted my insides. 25 years of scrimping. My birthday money, the summer jobs flipping burgers in greasy kitchens, the inheritance grandma left me before cancer stole her away. All gone. Vanished into the ether for my brother, the golden child, the one who'd always been more promising. And there sat Grandpa across the table, his weathered face crumpling like old paper, his fork clattering to the plate as he stared at my dad with eyes that burned like embers in a dying fire. "What did you just say?" Grandpa rasped, his voice a gravelly thunder that shattered the silence. I couldn't breathe. The room spun, the faded floral wallpaper blurring into a nauseating swirl. My savings. $47,000, every penny I'd hoarded for my master's in environmental science, for escaping this suffocating small-town life in rural Ohio where dreams withered like autumn leaves. I'd trusted them, handed over the account details years ago when Dad insisted it was safer under their name. Betrayal wasn't just a word. It was this hollow ache in my chest, a void where trust used to live. Mom avoided my gaze, fussing with her napkin, her lips pressed into a thin line of complicity. "It was for Tyler's rehab," she murmured finally, as if that explained everything. Tyler, my younger brother, the addict who'd burned through jobs and relationships like matches. Worthy. The fury bubbled up, hot and acrid, but I swallowed it, forcing a smile that felt like glass shards in my throat. "Rehab. Again." I managed, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. Grandpa leaned forward, his arthritic knuckles whitening on the tablecloth. At 82, he was a relic of harder times. Widowed war veteran tough, with a mind sharper than the knives he'd honed in his old workshop. "You mean you stole from your daughter to bail out that boy for the third time?" His words hung heavy, laced with disgust. Dad's face reddened, his jaw clenching. "It's not stealing, Pop. It's family. Tyler's got potential, he's clean now, starting that tech course. Elena. Well, she's always been the steady one. She'll figure it out." Steady. The label I'd worn like a noose, the reliable daughter who never rebelled, who studied late into the night while Tyler partied. Heartbreak clawed at me, a deep, throbbing wound. How many nights had I lain awake, dreaming of fieldwork in the Amazon, saving ecosystems while Tyler squandered his chances? Now those dreams evaporated, poof, like smoke from Dad's after-dinner cigar. I excused myself, mumbling something about a headache, and fled to my childhood bedroom upstairs. The door clicked shut, and I sank to the floor, back against the wood, knees drawn up. Tears came then, silent and furious, soaking my shirt. Humiliation burned. How could they? Resentment festered, a dark seed taking root. In my mind I replayed the scene. Dad's casual dismissal, Mom's weak defense, Tyler's absence. He was recovering at some upscale facility, no doubt paid for with my future. Fantasies flickered, storming back down, screaming accusations, smashing plates. But no, that was too easy, too fleeting. Doubt crept in. Was I overreacting? Family helped family, right? Yet the anger won, hardening into something colder. Resolve. They thought me steady. I'd show them steady, like a glacier, slow and unstoppable. Downstairs, voices rose. Grandpa's baritone cut through. "You've crossed a line, son. Elena's worked her ass off. What kind of father are you?" Dad's retort was muffled, defensive. "She'll understand. It's not like she's going anywhere." Not going anywhere. The words fueled the fire. I paced the room, the creaky floorboards groaning under my feet. The air was stale, heavy with the scent of dust and faded lavender from Mom's sachets. My laptop sat on the desk, screen saver flickering with photos of rainforests. Mocking me. I opened it, fingers flying over keys, searching bank statements. Me. Transferred out 6 months ago, piecemeal to avoid suspicion. Clever. But not clever enough. That night sleep evaded me. I lay in the twin bed, sheets tangled, staring at the ceiling cracks that mapped my fractured life. Obsession took hold. How to make them pay. Not violence. That was Tyler's realm, impulsive and messy. No, mine would be calculated, a slow unraveling. Guilt nipped at the edges. Grandpa had always been my ally, teaching me to fish by the river, sharing stories of his Korean War days. But even he couldn't fix this. Moral conflict churned. Was revenge worth it? Or was I becoming the monster they saw in Tyler? Yet the betrayal's sting overrode it all. By dawn, a plan whispered in my mind. Subtle, insidious. I'd play the forgiving daughter, bide my time. But I'd dig. Everyone had secrets. The next morning breakfast was tense. Dad slurped his coffee, avoiding eye contact. Mom plated eggs with forced cheer. Grandpa sat silent, watching me with those piercing blue eyes. "You okay, kiddo?" he asked softly as I poured orange juice. I nodded, forcing a smile. "Yeah, Gramps. Just processing." Inside rage simmered. Tyler arrived later, all sheepish grins and hollow promises. "Sis, I didn't know," he said, hugging me awkwardly. "Liar." His eyes darted, pupils pinpricks, still using. Suspicion bloomed. Dialogue flowed naturally, laced with undercurrents. "It's fine," I lied, voice sweet as poison. "Family first, right?" Dad beamed, relieved. But Grandpa's gaze lingered, as if he sensed the storm brewing. Weeks blurred into a haze of quiet fury. I moved back to my cramped apartment in Columbus, juggling 2 jobs, barista by day, freelance writer by night, to rebuild what they'd stolen. Humiliation dogged me. Friends asked about grad school. I dodged with vague excuses. Inner thoughts raced. What if I exposed them? Dad's side business, those late-night calls, the locked shed in the backyard. I'd overheard fragments as a kid. Shipments. Discreet. Drugs. No, couldn't be. But doubt gnawed. I started small. Casual questions to old neighbors, digging online. Subtle hints emerged. Dad's gambling debts, Mom's affair years ago. Layers peeled back, revealing a family rotten at the core. Suspense built in stolen moments. At night, I'd scroll through forums, learning about financial fraud, anonymous tips. Fear flickered, what if I got caught? But resentment drowned it. One evening, Grandpa called. "Elena, your dad's not telling the whole truth." His voice was hushed, conspiratorial. "Meet me at the old cabin this weekend." Heart-pounding, I agreed. The drive through winding country roads was cinematic. Golden leaves crunching under tires, the scent of pine sharp in the air, fog rolling over hills like a shroud. The cabin loomed, weathered logs groaning in the wind. Grandpa waited on the porch, a shotgun across his lap. "Not for me," he said, "but old habits." Inside, by the crackling fireplace, he spilled it. "Your savings. Not just for rehab. Your dad invested it in some shady scheme with Tyler. Crypto nonsense. Lost half, used the rest to cover debts." Shock hit anew, fury roaring. "Why?" I whispered. Grandpa sighed, guilt etching his face. "I enabled him too long. But you're like your grandma. Strong. Don't let them break you." His words ignited cold resolve. We plotted loosely, evidence gathering, nothing more. Yet in my mind, revenge crystallized. Ruin them financially, emotionally. Make them feel the void they'd carved in me. Tension mounted as I returned home. Dad's calls increased, probing. "You mad, honey?" I played coy, suppressing rage. "No, Dad. Just busy." Inside, obsession grew. Blueprints of their downfall. Moral grayness tugged. Grandpa's involvement complicated things. He had his own resentments, a lifetime of bailing out his son. Was I using him? Doubt surfaced in quiet moments, staring at my reflection in the mirror. Eyes hollowed by sleepless nights. But betrayal's scar throbbed. The pursuit began in earnest. One rainy afternoon, I tailed Tyler to a seedy bar on the outskirts. Through steamed windows, I watched him meet a sketchy figure, exchanging envelopes. Drugs. Money. Heart racing, I snapped photos from my car, wipers slashing rhythmically. Suspense coiled. What if he spotted me? Adrenaline surged, a mix of fear and exhilaration. Back home I pored over them, piecing clues. Hidden motives emerged. Tyler wasn't clean. Dad was complicit, skimming from his job at the mill. Layers deepened. Dad's worthiness was projection, masking his failures. Guilt warred with resolve during a family dinner weeks later. Mom chattered nervously. Dad boasted about Tyler's progress. I smiled, but inside plans fermented. Grandpa mentioned something about investments, I said casually. Dad stiffened, fork pausing. Old man's losing it. Tension crackled, unspoken accusations hanging. Grandpa winked at me across the table, a silent pact. The slow burn intensified. Hints of vengeance in every glance, every word. I fantasized the reveal. Anonymous emails to authorities exposing fraud. But doubt lingered. Would it destroy Grandpa too? As part one crested, the narrative teetered on the edge. I'd gathered evidence. Bank trails, photos, whispers from contacts. Revenge loomed, not impulsive but meticulously woven. Yet inner conflict raged. Was this justice or obsession? The hook's shock evolved into a web of emotions, pulling me deeper. The stage set for retaliation, suspense thrumming like a taut wire. The cabin's isolation amplified every sound. The drip of rain from eaves, the distant hoot of an owl, Grandpa's labored breathing as he spread documents across the scarred oak table. "Here's the proof," he said, voice a low rumble, sliding over faded receipts and cryptic emails printed on yellowed paper. My hands trembled as I scanned them. Transfers from my account to offshore wallets, Dad's signature forged on loan docs, Tyler's name linked to a pyramid scheme peddling fake crypto. Heartbreak resurfaced, raw as an open wound, but now laced with cold fury. "They knew," I whispered, the words tasting like ash. Grandpa nodded, his eyes shadowed by the lantern's flicker. "Your dad borrowed against the house too. If this blows, we lose everything." Moral conflict surged. Destroy my family to reclaim my dignity. Yet resentment won, a tidal wave crashing over doubt. We sat in silence, the fire popping like gunfire. Sensory details enveloped me. The musty scent of damp wood, the chill seeping through cracks, the weight of Grandpa's old revolver on the mantel. A relic from his war days, unspoken but ominous. Dialogue broke the hush. "What now, kiddo?" he asked, vulnerability cracking his tough facade. "We expose them," I said, voice steady despite the storm inside. But fantasies twisted. Not just exposure but ruin. Make Dad beg, Tyler crumble, Mom regret. Guilt nipped. Grandpa's health was failing. This could kill him. "You're sure?" he pressed. I hesitated, inner thoughts churning. Denial faded, obsession gripped. "They left me nothing. I owe them the same." Back in Columbus, pacing built. I wove revenge subtly. Anonymous tips to the IRS via encrypted apps. Photos leaked to local forums under pseudonyms. Suspense simmered. Late-night stakeouts, heart pounding as I shadowed Dad to underground poker games. The neon glow of signs reflecting off puddles. The acrid smoke wafting from doorways. One night, I overheard him pleading with a loan shark. "Give me time, Tyler's deal will pay off." Liar. Rage boiled, but I held back, calculating. Believable exchanges heightened tension. A call from Mom, tearful. Elena's distant. "Did we do wrong?" Dad's gruff reply. "She'll come around." Suppressed fury in my responses. "I'm fine, Mom. Just working." Layers deepened with each revelation. Tyler wasn't just an addict. He manipulated Dad, preying on paternal guilt from a childhood accident. Tyler's scar from a car crash Dad caused. Moral complexity emerged. Dad's betrayal stemmed from desperation, a flawed attempt to fix his son. But justification. Well, my own grayness troubled me, using Grandpa as a confidant, risking his heart. Doubt plagued quiet moments, staring at the ceiling, sheets damp with sweat, questioning if revenge healed or hollowed. Yet resolve hardened, a blade forged in fire. The turning point came midwinter, snow blanketing the world in deceptive peace. Grandpa summoned me again, his cough rattling over the phone. At the cabin, he looked frielier, skin papery, but eyes fierce. "Found this," he said, handing a hidden letter from Grandma's effects. Accusations of Dad's infidelity, funds siphoned years ago. Shock rippled. Betrayal generational. "She knew," Grandpa confessed, guilt etching deeper lines. "I covered for him. My mistake." Inner conflict peaked. "Forgive." Well, this fueled the plan's escalation. Suspense ratcheted as I orchestrated the unraveling. Foreshadowing whispered. Odd calls to Dad, auditors sniffing around the mill. Tyler's investors bailed, leaving him frantic. I played innocent, visiting home with feigned concern. Dialogue dripped manipulation. "Dad, you look stressed. Anything I can do?" His eyes narrowed, suspicion flickering. "Nah, just work." But tension built a pressure cooker. One evening, Tyler confronted me in the driveway, snow crunching under boots, breath fogging the air. "You ratting us out." His voice was edged, hands balled. Fear spiked, would he lash out? "What?" "No," I lied, heart hammering. Suppressed rage boiled beneath his facade. Mine mirrored it. The climax brewed during a stormy family gathering. Winds howled outside, rattling windows like omens. Grandpa arrived, cane thumping, his presence a catalyst. Over dinner, roast again, irony thick. Accusations simmered. "Tyler's in trouble," Mom fretted. Dad glared. "It's handled." I watched, pulse racing, knowing the anonymous email I'd sent to authorities would hit soon. Inner thoughts raced. This was it, poetic justice or destruction? Guilt twisted. Grandpa's labored breaths, his hand on mine under the table. Then the knock. Thunderous, echoing. Police at the door, badges flashing in the porch light. "Fraud investigation," the officer said, voice clipped. Dad paled, Mom gasped. Tyler bolted upstairs, but they followed. Chaos erupted. Shouts, denials, handcuffs clicking. "This is a mistake," Dad bellowed. But evidence mounted. My tips, Grandpa's docs. Suspense crested in the frenzy. Tyler's hidden stash uncovered. Dad's ledger seized. Heartbreak mingled with triumph as Mom sobbed. "How could you?" Directed at Dad. Or me. In the aftermath, alone with Grandpa on the porch, rain sluicing down, he squeezed my shoulder. "You did what I couldn't." But the twist unfurled. A confession in his eyes. "I tipped them first, Elena. Used your evidence, but I added mine." Shock jolted. He'd orchestrated the final blow, protecting me from full culpability. Moral grayness enveloped. His revenge, too, for a lifetime of disappointments. Unexpected consequences rippled. Family shattered, but I free, savings partially recovered via seizures. Yet psychological impact lingered. In the quiet dawn, driving away, resentment ebbed, replaced by hollow resolve. Revenge tasted bittersweet, a Pyrrhic victory. The betrayal's scar remained, but so did growth, cold, unyielding. Grandpa's final words echoed. "Sometimes justice asks a price." The story closed on that precipice, emotions raw, suspense resolved in poignant ambiguity.